Inside Huntsville with Brenda Martin, a conversation with department heads at City Hall on streets, ball fields, public safety, and more. And also with our community partners that add economic security, support education, and enhance the city's quality of life.
Hello, I'm Brenda Martin with Inside Huntsville. I'm so glad that you've joined me today for more in-depth information from our city departments. The Huntsville City Police Department is one of our largest departments with 3 precincts, over 400 sworn officers, and 210 civilian personnel. Our officers patrol about 213 square miles. While there are numerous divisions and bureaus in the police department, today we're going to focus on the Special Operations Division under the Services Bureau. Lieutenant Jeffrey Rice, Sr., wears many hats under the Special Operations Division, which is broken down into 2 subdivisions, Tactical Services and Special Services. And I'm going to let him share the details about both. Welcome, Lieutenant Rice.
Thank you for having me today, Ms. Martin.
Well, before we go any further, let's talk about you. What's your background? You've been around a long time.
Yes, I have 18 years of law enforcement experience. I started my law enforcement career at Alabama A&M University Police Department and later transferred to the Huntsville Police Department, where I spent about 1.5 years, and then laterally transferred to the Huntsville Police Department in 1998.
Okay. What drew you to Huntsville?
Well, I'm a native of Huntsville.
Okay.
Born and raised in this city, and so I've been here all my life, and I've always wanted to give back to the community.
And you certainly have done that. And let's talk a little bit about your units. What units comprise the special services that you're over?
Special Services Division has all the traffic units, and to include first, second, and third shift. Our DUI unit is our third shift traffic services unit. We also have school resource officer unit and our crossing guards, which we call them public safety aides.
Now, planning a special event can be and should certainly is quite detailed. What's involved in planning parades and the like, races and the like?
Well, the first thing that will need to be done is a special event application will have to be completed by someone who would want to do an event in the city of Huntsville. That application is routed to me, and I review that application and start working with the organizer to determine what resources will be necessary for that event to occur.
And there's obvious reasons as to why we need to have a permit, but talk a little bit about that.
Well, the permitting process, if a person would like to apply for a special event application, they would need to go on our website, huntsvilleal.gov, and click the icon to say, I want to. And that icon will have a drop-down screen where you can click on the appropriate icon for special event application. And so that is the beginning process of holding a special event in the city of Huntsville.
How many events, and I don't know if you can give us a ballpark figure, but how many events are there?
We have over 300 events in the city of Huntsville yearly, and that number is increasing because there's an increased amount of activity in our downtown area, especially in our entertainment district.
Sure. Now, in talking about the entertainment industry, do they need a permit too?
For some events that will be held on the roadway where roadways will be closed or sidewalks will be used, a permit must be given to a person to do those type of events.
So, like, what about our trucks? The trucks that are downtown, do they need permits? Is that what you're talking about?
And that is one of our newest events, started last year and last April on Church Street, and we've had, they run from April to October, and the food truck event does need a permit for that event to be held.
And I guess that's also for, well, not only public safety, but also health reasons.
Yes, we work with the health department will come out and they do their own inspections of the food trucks. But more so, the special event permit tells us that the resources from the city are needed, such as barricades, such as police officers. We may need our fire personnel to assist us in that and a special event. So that is why a special event permit is needed.
Okay, Lieutenant Rice, you mentioned earlier that Special Services is responsible for targeted traffic enforcement throughout the city. As you know, our 180,000 residents, they all have different driving habits because they all come from different areas. Now, how does one report traffic problems? Because let me just say, you know, in some cities, when you have an accident, you are to stop, you are to pull over to the side. What is the process here? Because I've heard different comments. You know, sometimes you're supposed to stay right where you are, or what is the process? If you have an accident, what do you do?
If you are involved in a traffic accident, we ask that you move your vehicle to the right of the roadway.
Now, don't just stop.
Don't just stop in the roadway. Even if your vehicle is damaged, move your vehicle out of the roadway, because what happens is we can have chain reaction crashes that occur behind the original crash scene.
Okay.
So we ask people to move their vehicles off the roadway if at all possible.
Okay. Are there a high number of vehicle crashes in the city of Huntsville?
Last year we had over 7,500 vehicle crashes in the city of Huntsville. And that's why we do some targeted enforcement for those high crash locations.
So what is the traffic unit doing to eliminate or decrease?
Well, the traffic unit works to assist a uniform patrol. The Huntsville Police Department has an overall crash reduction program, and the traffic unit helps to assist those overall traffic crash programs. And we also have grants that are provided through the North Alabama Traffic Safety Office that allows us to put more officers on the street during high crash times and high crash locations.
So where would they be? Where are the high crash areas?
Well, there are a lot of areas like University Drive and Jordan Lane. It's the the seventh most deadliest intersection in the state of Alabama. So that is one of them.
No kidding.
I-565, Memorial Parkway, where we have a lot of high traffic major arterial roadways. Those are the locations that we are concentrating on to help change drivers' habits.
So what do you do, when you say help change drivers' habits? How do you do that?
Well, we do the 4 E's. We evaluate, we educate, we enforce, and then we evaluate again. So we use the 4 E's of traffic to make sure that our public knows about the dangers that some of the driving habits that they may exhibit. So again, we evaluate, we educate, we enforce, and we come back and evaluate again.
And how's that working for you?
It's working well. In year 2013, there were 25 fatalities in the city of Huntsville. And year 2014, there were 16 fatalities. So we had a 36% decrease in overall fatalities in the city of Huntsville.
Okay, so and you attribute that to the 4 E's. Now, give us some details about what are the 4 E's?
Well, anytime you're working with a crash reduction program, you have to have the statistical data that shows you the trends and the areas that you need to concentrate in. And the second E is we have to educate. We have to educate the public through public service announcements, working with social media, getting the information out there to the public so that they can be aware and cognizant of the habits that are contributing to traffic crashes. The enforcement part comes when the officers are out running radar or using saturation patrols, safety checkpoints, issuing citations. And the last one is to come back to see if all of those 3 have worked. So that's where the evaluation process comes in again, to see if what you have done has gained the desired results.
Now, how do you determine where to put the radar areas, the radar officers?
That is determined through the evaluation process and also complaints that we receive from the public. If we have complaints from the public, especially in our neighborhoods or some high crash areas, we send officers out to run radar in those particular locations. So it's a combination of working with information that we get from the public, because they're the ones that are out there on a daily basis that are seeing some of these actions that calls for them to call us. And when they call, we respond.
Wonderful. How many how many officers do you have out in the field, like doing that?
We have 21 officers who are assigned to our traffic services units. And again, we have 3 traffic services units.
Okay. Now, another very important area that you're responsible for is the school resource officers.
Yes.
In my days, we didn't have such. Why now?
Well, in recent years, there's been an increased amount of violence in schools. And so the Huntsville Police Department was one of the first units in the state of Alabama, first departments in the state of Alabama, to create a school resource officer unit.
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm sorry.
The Huntsville Police Department was one of the first departments in the state of Alabama to create a school resource officer unit. Our unit now is over 20 years old.
20 years old.
20 years old.
So what kind of results are you seeing after have the officers in the schools?
We're seeing a lot of great results. Officers are there to provide security and safety, to create an environment that is conducive for learning. They're also there to do mentoring. They're also there to be proactive, and they wear a lot of hats in the schools. They are counselors, they act as social workers. Some of them act as parents to a lot of our young people who do not have that parental guidance at home. So our school resource officers serve a special niche in the police department.
Now, and how many are there? Are they in every school?
They are not in every school every day. We have 2 officers assigned to each one of our high schools, 1 officer assigned to each one of our middle schools, and some officers go between 2 different schools. So each school has an officer that can respond to their area of responsibility if needed. Also, we work with the school system. The school system has provided what we call a green area at schools, and that's an area where our regular patrol officers can come, park their vehicle, and upload their data from their computer terminals that are in their vehicles. So that offers extra officers to be at our schools.
Okay, to be on site.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
I see. Okay. That's got to be very rewarding in many ways, not only for the officers, but also for the children, especially, as you say, those who perhaps don't have that parental guidance at home. And plus, I can see where it really would help for our children to get a chance to know and become involved with our officers, to build that relationship. Speak to that a little bit.
Right, and that is very important and very true. Our officers work with these young people on a daily basis. We have a school resource officer camp where we offer for 100 kids each summer to come and participate in a week-long camp. And we have a lot of fun activities for those young people to do. We take them on field trips, and we interact with them on their level. And we teach them that a law enforcement officer is not your enemy. They are your friend.
Yes. Okay, now how do children get a chance to be a part of that?
Well, each spring we send out applications throughout the community for those young people to take home to their parents, and for their parents to fill out the information and send it back to us. And then we pick 100 children out of that pool to go to the school resource officer camp.
Okay. Now, are they sent, the applications sent into the schools, the Boys and Girls Club? I mean, we need to get this information.
They are sent out community-wide.
Okay.
Throughout the community, so that young people, whether they're going to the Boys and Girls Club or whether they're going to other organizations, they can fill out that application to possibly participate in the school resource officer camp.
Okay. Lieutenant Rice, do you have a good cross-section of students in that program?
We do. Okay. We have a very diverse group of students, and we're looking for the students who have behave themselves throughout the year,
Sure.
those who have put that work in the classroom, and it's a reward to them for doing the right thing throughout the year.
Yes.
So we have a very good, diverse group of young people that participate in our camp.
Now, what ages are you looking at?
From 7th graders through 12th grade can participate in our camp.
7th through the 12th. Now, at the beginning of the school year, I had the privilege of interviewing Darlene Davis.
Yes.
And Darlene, of course, is the supervisor for public safety aides. In my day, they called them crossing guards, okay? Tell us the function of the school crossing guard, and as it was called back in my day.
Well, they work to help educate young people about safety. And they go into our schools and they teach classes about safety. And then also their main function is to help young people and other people get across the street safely to go to school, help traffic to have traffic control in the areas of our school. And they also are pivotal in our special events because they provide extra manpower for special events. We could not do special events and do them safely without safety patrol aides.
How many do you have?
83.
Do you need more?
We do need more, but we'll work with what we have.
Okay, that's great. And let's talk about another area that you are responsible for, very important, and certainly no more important than the others, but the DUI Task Force is something that I'm sure gives you a lot of concerns.
Yes. Our DUI Task Force is comprised of 7 officers and 1 sergeant. And what their job is to do traffic control with a main focus on DUI enforcement. Throughout the year, again, through a grant that has been provided by the North Alabama Traffic Safety Office, we're able to do numerous safety patrols, saturation patrols, and DUI safety checkpoints.
Are you finding that there are a lot of people driving while intoxicated?
Unfortunately, yes. Not just intoxicated with alcohol, but an increased amount of people who are driving while using drugs.
You know, and it's so unbelievable because, you know, you hear this, we've heard this for years. Don't drink and drive. You know, even with the prescription drugs and all that. But still, people do it.
People do, and we're going to continue to enforce and strictly enforce that. Today is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yes.
And with it being St. Patrick's Day, it's a drinking holiday. And St. Patrick's Day is one of our most deadliest days on the roadway. Through 2009 and 2013, nationwide, over 300 people have lost their lives on the roadway from drinking and driving on St. Patrick's Day.
On St. Patrick's Day. Oh, my goodness.
So our campaign for today is buzz driving is drunk driving.
Buzz driving. What do you mean by that?
Because the person gets you feel like you don't feel drunk, but you feel like you have a buzz from the alcohol. But you still may be impaired to a point that you can't safely operate a motor vehicle. So the word for today is buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's drunk driving. And if you think you've got a buzz, you better not get behind that wheel.
And we ask people to be wise about, you're going to go out and going to enjoy the St. Patrick's Day holiday. Make sure that you have a designated driver.
Yes.
Make plans for your event.
Yes.
Get a taxi. Do the right thing. That's all we ask people to do. And we will be out in force on today as we are throughout the year.
Okay. Great. Now, another area that you're responsible for, and that's the bicycle officers.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, we have 20 bicycle units, and they're part-time officers. Our bicycle unit is comprised of officers from Uniform Patrol, and part of their function during Uniform Patrol is to help out with special events. And especially in our downtown area with our new entertainment district, we assign those bicycle officers to patrol that area while we're having those events in downtown.
Yeah, you see a lot of them around now. So you say they're part-time in that function.
In that function, yes. Their full-time job is uniform
Sure.
patrol. They are assigned
Okay.
to one of the 3 precincts. But in their part-time function, when manpower is needed, they are able to have a change and then participate on the bicycle squad.
Now, are they only downtown, or are they, how do you determine where to take the bicycles?
The majority of the time we have them in our downtown areas
Okay.
because that is where a lot of our special events are located. But there are other times that we do utilize them in other areas in the city, but we mostly use them for our special events and our entertainment district.
Okay. My producer is telling me that I need to wind down a little bit, but listen, another thing I want you to talk a little bit about, as I mentioned earlier, in your early remarks, you wear a number of hats as the commander of special services. How are you able to organize everything?
Well, in my days of playing football, I always was taught that there's no I in team.
Gotcha.
I have a team. I have a team of good team of sergeants and an outstanding team of officers who work together to do a job, and they do a great job on a daily basis. So that's how I'm able to do it. Without their work and them being accountable in their different divisions, we wouldn't be able to get it done. But they do it seamlessly on a daily basis.
On a daily basis, yeah.
They do.
That is great. Well, they've got a great leader in you.
Well, I
mean, it
appreciate
always
that.
starts at the top, you know.
Well, I appreciate that, and your people is what makes you.
Yes.
Okay, and I try to take care of my people, and I believe if I take care of my people, then my people will take care of the citizens of which we serve.
Exactly, exactly. Wonderful, wonderful, great comment to end on. Time passes too fast when you're enjoying the task at hand. It's been a joy and certainly a privilege to speak to you today. Thanks for all that you're doing in the city of Huntsville, and let's give a telephone number and email in case our citizens would like to get in touch with you.
Great. The telephone number to the Special Operations Division is 256-427-5580, and also can be contacted by email at jeff.rice@huntsvilleal.gov.
And you know, one other thing we wanted to talk about was the Huntsville Connect.
Yes, if you would like to report traffic problems or any other type of problems that you're having in your community, by all means go to our website and connect to Huntsville Connect and report those issues to us, and we'll be sure to respond with city services.
Okay, good. Again, we want to thank you for being here. Lieutenant Jeffrey Rice from the Huntsville Police Department has been my guest today. We appreciate you joining us to look at one of our many departments inside Huntsville. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again.